But the agency observed that in at least 9 cases, victims tested negative for gunpowder nitrates. In 13 others, not a single record of paraffin or ballistic test, autopsy result, or death certificate. The DOJ observed excessive use of force that resulted in the deaths of drug suspects. Some bore multiple gunshot wounds, including one victim with 15 gunshot wounds. 7 were shot at close range. The PNP's Internal Affairs Service found no proof of violent resistance on the part of suspects in some cases. How were the cops punished? In 35 cases, they were just suspended. Only a few were dismissed. Malacanang says the DOJ report shows President Duterte was not responsible for alleged abuses and lapses in the drug war.
On the contrary, it proves that the Philippine state has in fact investigated and prosecuted individuals for these extraditional killings.
The International Criminal Court's pre-trial chamber sees otherwise. The President has publicly encouraged extrajudicial killings. President Duterte vowed he won't cooperate with the ICC investigation on his bloody drug war. PNP Chief General Guillermo Elazar urged his families of victims to cooperate.
Ito rin ang pagkakataon para sa mga pamilya ng nasawi dito sa mga pulis sa anti-illegal drugs operation para sila ay makapagsumite ng complaint affidavit o kaya magharap ng testigo upang maisampa ang kaukulang kasong kriminal sa korte.
The National Bureau of Investigation is now tasked to build the cases as the Justice Department appeals to witnesses to come forward and hold erring cops accountable. Drug war critics say the DOJ revelation is just the tip of the iceberg. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara declared before a UN body that it's quietly reviewing more than 5,000 drug wiretaps, but it has so far looked into less than 400 cases. For the Free Legal Assistance Group, the initiative is grossly insufficient, and its challenge to the DOJ bring these cases to court. Anjali Mardio, CNN Philippines.
President's first police chief from June 2016 to early 2019, now Senator Bato de la Rosa, was the brains behind Oplan-Tokang, although de la Rosa timely again took pains to explain that the Visayan word Tokang meant to knock and plead. It had come to be associated with killings, police shooting suspects they claimed had fought back or nanlaban in the vernacular, just as Anjan said. This could not have come at a worse time with all this talk about an international criminal court probe that claims it will make Mr. Duterte accountable. De la Rosa had said on the show a week ago he would face the probe. He has changed his tune since then. He has changed his tune since then. The expanded alert level system outside Metro Manila begins today as the government modifies its vaccination strategy in hopes of a better Christmas. Officials say they will work closely with local governments to vaccinate 50% of the total eligible population by December. To achieve this target, the government needs to administer 1.5 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine every day. So far, the country's average daily inoculation is at 500,000. Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez says there is enough supply of doses, but logistics are slowing down the vaccine rollout. Since most vaccines in the stockpile are Pfizer and Moderna that require ultra-cold freezers, Galvez explains they will apply the so-called just-in-time strategy.
For example, na kunyari, naka-schedule siya ng Monday, you can deliver on Sunday, and then just in time, bubuksan mo lang yung shipper box doon sa vaccination site. So it can withstand 3 to 5 days.
Galvez adds Pfizer and Moderna vaccines can be stored outside an ultra-cold freezer for 3 to 5 days, just as long as they're sealed in the shipper's box. Now, the government is gearing up to give a third dose to vulnerable groups. The vaccine czar is optimistic the emergency approval for another shot will be out before the end of the month. Kylie Bonkin has the details.
A quarter of the Philippine population has been vaccinated against COVID-19, and although that's still far from the target, the government might have to soon give a third dose to vaccinated individuals who might not have developed enough protection from the virus.
Barangay health worker Christopher Duque has been fully
fully vaccinated since April. Already at the 6th month of the vaccine, he worries about getting infected again. That's why he wants a booster shot.
Kasi kami kumaharap din kami sa mga COVID patient. So, kami prone din talaga sa virus. Kaya kailangan na rin talaga namin.
The World Health Organization has recommended an additional dose for people with compromised immune systems. Vaccine expert and infectious diseases specialist Dr. Ronjin Solante explains why.
Based on the data, they did not mount a very good on the data immune response, or this population will get that mount a very good COVID immune then they have a higher risk that they will also develop severe and critical, unlike the general population.
But this is separate from a booster shot for the rest of the population who got enough protection after completing the required doses.
Booster shot can be or cannot be given. If you just want to make that protection maintain after several months, if you just want to make 6 months or 8 months, after several third dose kasi, like 6 months ideally, it should be given 1 month after the second dose.
The vaccine experts panel has recommended boosters in August, citing studies on several vaccine brands waning protection at about 6 months. The health department has yet to finalize when will the additional doses be given, which brands, and at what interval. But one thing's clear, not all people under the A3 category will be prioritized for an extra dose. Selected immunocompromised should get it first. Their recommendation, selected immunocompromised should get it first. This may also include senior citizens and health workers directly caring for COVID patients, while the rest might get their booster shots by next year. But the government cannot give extra doses until the WHO completes its recommendation, and vaccine manufacturers have secured a new emergency use authorization for a third or booster shot. This means Christopher still has to wait before getting a boost on his protection against COVID. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
The country's COVID-19 cases continue to decline. The health department reported over 3,600 new infections today, the lowest since July. The DOH also reporting only 5 new fatalities and 228 recoveries. The DOH saying these low numbers have to do with some issues in the COVID Gaia system. Now, 2 officials of controversial medical supplier Pharmaly appear to be in hiding. Pharmaly has been at the center of a Senate probe after bagging billions of pesos in supposedly questionable government deals. The Blue Ribbon Committee earlier ordered executives and siblings Mohit and Twinkle Dargani detained at the Senate for refusing to submit documents subpoenaed by lawmakers. In a text message to CNN Philippines, retired Major General Rene Samonte says Senate security personnel went to 3 condominium units in Taguig and San Juan. Condominium staff confirmed these were owned by the Darganis, but they were not there. Another Pharmaly official, Lincoln Ong, has been detained at Senate for over a month now for allegedly lying during the hearings. Ong's lawyer says the Senate has no legal authority to arrest his client and the Darganis outside Senate premises.
Any attempt by the Senate Sergeant at Arms to arrest Mr. Dargani may subject him to criminal liability, including serious illegal detention, which is non-bailable. Any senator ordering him to arrest Mr. Dargani, and if he is arrested, may be liable for the same offense, because Mr. Dargani is outside of the jurisdiction of the Senate. Is outside of the jurisdiction.
Senate President Tito Soto says Senate security can take the Darganis into custody as long as, quote, they are within the jurisdiction of the Philippines, unquote. We have more stories ahead on Newsnight. Transport groups supposedly backpedaling over petition to increase fares amid surging prices at the pump, and a Korean actor known for his memorable good boy character caught in a scandal. Kim Son-ho breaking his silence. Next, keep it here on CNN Philippines. Breaking his silence. Next, keep it here on CNN Philippines.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Magmahal sa kaaway, mas matamis ang buhay. Make life sweet with San Miguel flavored beer with the deliciously refreshing flavors of apple, lychee, and lemon. That's just the right beer buzz. Pili na sa refreshing flavors of apple, lychee, and lemon. With just the right beer buzz. Pili na sa
Welcome back to Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Honteveros. A lawmaker says transport groups have agreed to hold off their petition for a fare increase after 8 straight weeks of oil price hikes. House Transportation Committee Chair Edgar Sarmiento met with government agencies and transport leaders who earlier asked to increase the minimum fare from 9 to 12 pesos. Regulators were not keen on the proposal, saying it will be an added burden for commuters. But Sarmiento says the Energy and Transportation Departments will study cash aid grants for public utility vehicle operators. He adds the House will tackle a long-term solution to the oil price hikes when sessions resume next month.
Long-term solution to the oil price hikes when sessions resume next month.
Department of Energy at ang Department of Transportation na pumabor naman ang hanay ng jeepney na they will be putting on hold muna yung increase. That's the bottom line. Not about na sila na may masaya sa napag-usapan kanina. At wari ko naman na we can right away implement yung tulong ng Department of Energy at yung ano naman ng Department of Transportation.
Transport groups also call for the suspension of the value-added tax on petroleum products. They say putting the 12% VAT on hold will provide relief to drivers and commuters. Drivers also asked for concrete solutions from the government if fare increases are not approved. A lawmaker wants more public transport drivers in the government's service contracting program. Senator Risa Honteveros believes this is the win-win solution for both commuters and drivers to keep fares affordable amid consecutive oil price hikes. Honteveros also urged regulators to allocate unreleased funds worth 3 billion pesos under the service contracting and DZKI-IRIGA programs. She says the government can use the money to employ more drivers and shoulder expenses on fuel to avoid a fare increase for now. Well, the logistics industry is also on its toes because of the rising fuel costs, and the domino effect is impacting consumers. Our senior correspondent Lois Calderon has that story.
Grounded for 4 months at the height of the pandemic, freight transporter Herna Baluyot Santos' 40 trucks are back on the road. The relaxed COVID-19 restrictions are revving up her business closer to pre-pandemic level. But the recovery is short-lived as successive hikes in pump prices sent her business back to break even.
Paano ba kayo nalulugi ngayon 50 pesos na ang diesel? Tulad ng unit namin na to na dating 5 biyahe ang nagagawa, nagiging 3 na lang. So napakalaking impact sa amin ang pagtaas ng presyo ng diesel.
Santos avoids long-term contracts so she can easily adjust to sudden fuel price swings. Diesel accounts for more than half of operating costs, so those in the logistics business have no choice but pass that on to customers. From the pump to trucks to factories to the consumer, high fuel prices have a domino effect. What's the best deal? High fuel prices have a domino effect.
Maibalik natin sa presyo naman, let's say 40, 42, okay pa siguro yun.
But the Energy Department's hands are tied when it comes to fuel prices because of the Oil Deregulation Act that's over 20 years old. Because of the Oil Deregulation Act that's over 20 years old.
As far as the way is concerned, wino-work out pa lang yung petition and transport sa LTFRB sa tax or whatsoever on kasi it's a fiscal measures.
The government may provide some tax relief on the sale of oil. But Fitch Research Unit says that the government has little room to dodge tax.
The amount of wiggle room for the government on the fiscal side is fairly limited. Wiggle room, as I mentioned it, for delaying taxes or subsidies is fairly limited. The pandemic threat will likely take up any excess resources from the government.
Fitch expects oil prices to remain high this year before settling lower in 2022. Until then, consumers will just have to shell out more. Lois Calderon, CNN Philippines.
Three presidential aspirants are unfazed by a possible tandem between fellow hopeful Bongbong Marcos and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte in next year's elections. I spoke to the representatives of Senators Ping Lacson and Manny Pacquiao and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno on politics as usual, each of them expressing confidence about their campaign, saying they are not worried about the potential of possible team-up.
We believe that we are not only a strong, that we only don't have a strong tandem, we also have a smart, we're running a smart campaign, which means that it shouldn't matter who Senator Lacson and Senator Soto are running against, but at the same time, we're also open to making calibrations or adjustments as we go along.
Para sa amin, bahala na sila. Gusto nila magsama, gusto nilang komandidato si BBM o gusto komandidato ni Sara Duterte. That's their privilege and that's their right. Okay lang, no? So, laban-laban na lamang.
He is running on his strength, on his platform.
Laban-laban na lamang.
He knows what he wants to do on his platform. And if elected, he knows where to go and what to do. So, he doesn't really care where to go and who is going to run against him or whether this candidate or that candidate will go in a tandem, whether
Bongbong, the son and namesake of the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos, previously said that, quote, everything is possible in a possible tandem with the presidential daughter, who is gunning for a third term as Davao City Mayor. Catch the full interview on the replay of Politics as Usual at 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. A leading American logistics firm is returning to the Philippines after a little over a decade-long absence. FedEx, which left its regional hub in Subic in Olongapo in 2009, constructed a brand new 17,000 square meter facility in Clark in Angeles, Pampanga. Now, that facility boasting of a state-of-the-art technology that increases sorting capabilities and has dedicated areas for large heavyweight freight. There are also cold storage facilities capable of shipping and storing sensitive cargo like vaccines. The entire facility's cost $30 million or 1.5 billion pesos. The return of FedEx is expected to generate 800 jobs in Clark alone. We take a quick break, and when we return, a popular Korean actor is in the spotlight after apologizing for controversy. And what are the odds? An American street performer spots John Legend in the crowd while singing his hit single. Details next. John Legend in the crowd while singing his hit single. Details next.
Sa mga Pilipino na nahihirapan sa mga transaksyon dahil wala o kulang ang mga valid IDs sa mga transaksyon.
Huwag nang mag-alala dahil narito na po ang PhilSys, ang identification system ng bawat Pilipino.
Meron lamang pong 3 steps para makapagrehistro at makakuha ng PhilID. Para sa Step 1 registration, pumunta lang sa register.philsys.gov.ph para makapag-register sa PhilSys online.
Sa pamamagitan ng ID natin, ang bawat Pilipino ay meron ng valid proof of identity.
At mas mapapadali na ang ating mga public and private transactions. Kaya ano pang hinihintay nyo?
Ayaan na sina nanay, tatay at ang buong pamilya. At mag-register na. Ayaan na sina nanay, tatay at ang buong pamilya. At mag-register na.
Ito, PhilSys, ID nga dito.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready to eat. Slow cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. The COVID-plagued PBA season is nearing its end, with the first of the projected 7 games to be played today by Magnolia and TNT in a finals match in Bacolor, Pampanga. Game 1 was off to a thrilling start some 20 minutes ago, with TNT leading 15-6. The game is in the first quarter. It is a best-of-7 fight between Coach Shot Reyes for TNT and Coach Chito Victorero for Magnolia. Two of the country's biggest businessmen, Manny Pangilinan and Ramon Ang, own the teams. The season was moved midway to Pampanga when Metro Manila went into lockdown 2 months ago because of the Delta variant surge. But COVID still took its toll, and some of the teams and critics laid the blame on the semi-bubble setup. TNT, Meralco, and Barangay Ginebra are just some of the teams with players that tested positive for COVID, and they had to go into isolation. That situation would sometimes lead to the entire team getting quarantined for a week or two. We'll update the latest scores here later on CNN Philippines. Now, with the PBA wrapping up, all eyes now turning to college athletics. The Commission on Higher Education starting to vaccinate student athletes under the UAAP today. Vaccine czar Carlita Galvez hopes all student athletes in Metro Manila will get their first dose before the end of October. Ceremonial vaccination of athletes from colleges under the NCAA starting next week. COVID brought both leagues to a screeching halt. The men's basketball finals for the UAAP last played, for example, in November 2019. The Ateneo Blue Eagles won their third championship that time in an aborted season 82. But the UAAP targeting to open the next season for men's basketball in February and women's volleyball in April 2022. With this, coaches are hoping that guidelines for the training of athletes will be released soon.
Kailangan talaga magsimula na itong yung natin, yung ating mga practices kasi alam nyo mga athletes, kailangan talaga pagka hindi nakapag-workout yan, parang tumataba na tayo ng konti eh. So namin, we will support everything that we can support sa INTF at sa NTF na talagang mabakunahan lahat ang mga players natin, mga staff, mga coaches, at saka yung mga support personnel, staff, mga coaches.
Once approved, UAAP President Emmanuel Calanog said they are hoping to get the athletes into the bubble and begin training by November 1. A Korean drama that has taken Netflix Philippines by storm is now literally in the eye of a storm of a different kind. The lead star in the hit series Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha publicly apologizing after a controversy about forcing abortion on his ex-girlfriend. In the statement, Kim Son-ho did not directly address the abortion claims, but he talked about what he said were his selfish actions towards his old flame. At first, the actor's fans defended him by making the hashtag Protect Kim Son-ho trend, but the apology recently got mixed reactions online. The actor has since lost a number of sponsorships and is leaving one of his shows 2 days, 1 night. And also going viral after many singles over the years, K-pop sensation CL is finally giving fans her much-awaited album Alpha, composed of 11 tracks, is the artist's first album since her group 2NE1 disbanded in 2016. Netizens quick to praise the release with hashtag CL is the Alpha, entering Twitter trends. The music video for one of the songs, Taya Cherry, also dropped earlier today. And in the United States, a legendary singer pops up in Boston, Massachusetts to watch a Lucky Street performer's rendition of his smash hit. CNN's Jeannie Mose gives us a look.
A street performer in Boston. Was crooning All of Me when suddenly she got all of him. John Legend when suddenly she got all of him. John Legend. The man whose song she was singing was standing right before her eyes.
I saw a man with a trench coat and a mask step forward. I thought to myself, that looks quite like John Legend, but that couldn't be him.
But then he took his mask off.
I was absolutely stunned.
But in town for a concert, Legend was outside Faneuil Hall with his wife Chrissy and his kids watching. Part-time singer Radha Rao performed Legend's song, never dreaming he'd be there.
It's definitely a fan favorite, and it's a song I feel so emotional about.
She said her mind went blank, she was nervous, kept singing as he nodded encouragement. Anyone who watches The Voice might expect him to wheel around any moment, but when Radha finished, That's
a surprise.
Legend reached in his pocket for his wallet, walked over to Radha, Legend gave her a tip and a hug, telling her the song was beautiful. Gave her a tip and a hug, telling her the song was beautiful. But how much of his all did he give? Did she tell us how big a tip?
I would love to, but I actually don't know.
She just put it in her tip box and continued her set. But the one thing she does know,
I did give it my all.
But the one thing she does know,
I did give it my all.
Shinimos, CNN, New York.
And before we go, a sneak peek at a film about a comedy pioneer and the star of Halloween Kills says just wait till the next movie. Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute. Till the next movie. Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I get paid a fortune to do exactly what I love doing.
They got their money's worth.
I work side by side with my husband, who is genuinely impressed by me. And all I have to do to keep it is kill for 36 weeks in a row.
The first teaser is out for the I Love Lucy movie, Being the Ricardos, with Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz and Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball, including a brief shot of the iconic grape-stomping scene. Being the Ricardos, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, debuts in theaters on December 10th and on Amazon Prime Video December 21st.
A man who couldn't have survived that fire.
Michael Myers is still on the rampage, helping Halloween Kills fill theaters with fans of the franchise. And if you thought this movie was scary, star Jamie Lee Curtis says, just wait until the follow-up, Halloween Ends.
The last shot of the Halloween Ends movie
Halloween Ends
is going to make people go insane.
Curtis and Michael Myers return in Halloween Ends, due out next October. In Hollywood, I'm David Dan.
We have 66 days before Christmas, and that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Honteveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Honteveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
This program is brought to you by. This program is brought to you by.
Mari, ang dami mga pinagdang sa ilalim ng tore. Mabuti sigurong magsiga tayo para matanggal ang mga
mga misis, mapangani ba ang gagawin? Ang makapal na puso, ulot ang pagsisita, malapit po sa ilalim ng mga ay maaaring maging sanhi ng malawakang brownout.